Computation by degrees explained. The Gemara in Psachim, Tzadik Daled Amid Aleph, states that the time span between Alos HaShachar, dawn, and Hanetzachama, which is sunrise, is as long as the amount of time it takes an average person to walk a distance of 4 mil. According to most poskim, it takes 18 minutes for an average person to walk a distance of 1 mil, and therefore 72 minutes to walk 4 milin. As a result, they hold that Alos HaShachar occurs 72 minutes before sunrise. Others say it takes 22.5 minutes to walk a mil, and therefore 90 minutes to walk 4 milin. Accordingly, Alos HaShachar occurs 90 minutes before sunrise. Either way, Alos HaShachar refers to a specific point in the gradual transition from night to day. Likewise, Tzeis HaKochavim, nightfall, refers to a point in the transition between day and night. These transitions occur at a rate which varies from place to place and season to season. Place to place, in locations close to the equator, the process of nightfall occurs faster than it does in locations further away from the equator. To illustrate, for any given date, it will be darker a half hour after sunset in Miami than it will be half hour after sunset in Montreal. That is, the same half hour after sunset corresponds to visually different stages of nightfall in different locations. Season to season, the process of nightfall occurs slowest in the summer and the fastest in March and September. As such, for any given location, it will be darker a half hour after sunset on a September day than it will be a half hour after sunset on a summer day. That is, the same half hour after sunset corresponds to visually different stages of nightfall during different seasons. Taking these facts into account, the Gra and others ruled that Alos HaShachar cannot be defined in terms of a fixed amount of time before sunrise, and Tzeis HaKochavim cannot be defined in terms of a fixed amount of time after sunset. All figures of the Gemara involving a fixed time span were stated specifically in reference to the equinox days, the days of Nisan and Tishrei, in which day and night are equally long. Furthermore, the figures stated by the Gemara were stated only with regard to Bavel and Eretz Yisrael. For other places and other dates, different corresponding figures apply. Alos HaShachar, the Gemara, as we said above, states that Alos HaShachar occurs 4 milin, or 72 minutes, before sunrise. The figure of 72 minutes applies only to the equinox days in Bavel and Eretz Yisrael. Actual times of Alos HaShachar in other settings may be more or less than 72 minutes before sunrise. The figure of 72 minutes was given as a means of identifying a specific point in the process of dawn, which defines Alos HaShachar. This point can be identified astronomically according to the position of the sun. Where is the sun 72 minutes before sunrise on an equinox day in Yerushalayim? The answer is 16.1 degrees below the horizon. As such, Alos can be defined for all settings as the time when the sun reaches 16.1 degrees below the horizon. According to this interpretation, Alos HaShachar has the same appearance during all seasons of the year, anywhere in the world. The example involves Alos HaShachar, but the same method can be applied to calculate Tzeis HaKochavim and Mishyakir, interpreting the figures of the Gemara and Poskim in this way. Tzeis HaKochavim. Some Poskim say that the emergence of three smaller stars occurs 36 minutes, or 2 million, after sunrise. The figure of 36 minutes applies only to the equinox days in Bavel and Eretz Yisrael. Times in other settings may vary, since the angle of the sun 36 minutes after sunset on the appearance of the equinox days in Yerushalayim is 8.5 degrees below the horizon. The time for the emergence of three similar stars can be identified in all settings as the moment when the sun has descended 8.5 degrees below the horizon. Note that computation by degrees has ramifications, not only with regard to alos and seis, but also with regard to those zmanim times which are based on alos and seis, such as sof zman kriyat Shema, according to the Magen Avraham.